Hello, it's Keith here, and right now in this video, I want to show you how I write blog posts using the Ultimate Blog Writer. Now, this Ultimate Blog Writer is a co-pilot assistant inside of PromptROI. When you come in and get an all-access pass for membership, you get free access to all of the co-pilots that are inside of here, and this is one of them. Now, right now, I want to show you. Let's go ahead and zoom in so we can sort of get it close. And you'll see here, I kind of started off, this was an earlier conversation. I said, hi. I said, hello, blogger. I'm your personal blogging co-pilot. Please enlighten me on a few things before we begin. What tone of voice should we use in this post? I said, hopeful. This was a post I was starting out writing. You'll see the idea in a second. Great choice. A hopeful tone can be very engaging. Who is the target audience reading this post? Everyone who lives under the rule of some type of leader. Understood. A broad audience with a common experience of governance or leadership. What is the call to action or goal of this post? The goal of this post is simply get the person to think. A thought-provoking piece. Got it. What messages or arguments should we include? So I think one thing you'll notice here is this is not your typical engagement with AI, right? It's a very simple, step-by-step, conversational encounter versus just having this thing run off and go do a bunch of stuff for you. Okay, so that's the first thing I think is really important. The message is really a question. What effects does having a clearly incompetent leader have on its people? I'm just curious, kind of thought came into my head. What's the effect on the people of the country? A poignant and relevant topic, especially in today's global climate. What keywords should we use in this post? Poor leadership, incompetent leader. I just threw those in there, but it wants to know because it's going to take that into account. Noted, we all will ensure to include poor leadership and incompetent leader as keywords. How many words should this be? 1,500. Perfect. Substantial length to explore this topic thoroughly. Do you want image suggestions? Sure. Thank you. Information's helpful to write this blog. Now tell me the topic you want to write about. And then I said, what effect does having a clearly incompetent leader have on its people? And then the first step is really give me some angles that we can pick an angle, right? So after analyzing the topic, here are 10 unique and engaging angles to approach this topic from. This is where you'll stop for a second and sort of read these and see, which one sort of resonates with you the most. I said 1 is good. It said step 2, blog headlines. Now it's going to give me 10 engaging and attention-grabbing headlines to base the article on, which is pretty cool. I said, can we start over and write a new post? This is where I actually came back to this today because I want to write a post on something else. But I figured while I was writing this, why don't I show you guys how this works? Because I think it's pretty cool. And I've already written several posts with this. So, of course, we can start anew. Please share with me the details of your post. What tone of voice? I said educational, fantastic. An educational tone is excellent for informative and instructive content. Who's the new target audience reading this post? Business owners, writers, content creators who write persuasive copy. Got it. We will tailor the content to business owners, writers, and content creators. What is the call to action? Get a free PromptROI account. Understood. The goal is to encourage readers to sign up for PromptROI. What messages or arguments should we include? The big argument is that tension in a sales message, especially a VSL, is hugely important for high conversions. Is that even true? I tried to ask it, which I know it is, but I wanted to see what it would say. It just skipped over it. It said, an interesting and compelling argument to explore. What keywords should we aim to incorporate into this new post? So I said VSL, video sales letter, AI writing. Great. We'll include VSL, video sales letter, AI, and writing as primary keywords. How many words should this post be? I said 1,500. 1,500 words noted. A good length for an in-depth exploration of the topic. Do you want image suggestions? Sure. Thank you. The information is helpful to write this blog. Now tell me the topic you want to write about. So I said X ways to build tension in a sales message. And it kind of gave me some, but then I said, hey, wait, let's back up to the part where you asked me for the topic because I don't like how I said X ways. I should have just said how to build tension, right? I'm trying to feed it too much here. And that's the beauty of this. You don't have to. Just say how to build tension in a written message, right? So it said, yeah, sure. Now tell me the topic you want to write. It said how to build tension in a sales argument like a sales letter or a VSL. And then it came through step 1, blog topic angle, read, analyze, and digest the topic of this blog post entered by the Now I'll come up with 10 of the best unique and engaging angles. So it gives me some angles here to choose from. I chose 8, building to the climax, techniques for weaving tension into sales arguments. And then based on that, it gave me 10 headlines. And this is where we left off. So let's go ahead and, okay, I like 5. So I'm gonna hit 5 and enter. And now the system's gonna go ahead and start working with this 5. Elevate your persuasion, a guide to weaving tension into your VSL and sales letter. I kind of like this one too, the narrative tension toolbox. But okay, now I'll write the blog outline using best practices for high performing blogs based on the chosen headline. Elevate your persuasion, a guide to weaving tension into your VSL and sales letter. Okay, outline. Introduction. The importance of building tension in sales arguments, brief explanation of sales letters and VSLs, preview of what the guide will cover. 2, understanding tension in storytelling, definition of narrative tension, why tension works on a psychological level, and then analogies from popular media and storytelling. The building blocks of tension, creating anticipation and withholding satisfaction, use of conflict and stake in sales narratives, pacing and timing for maximal tension. Then we've got techniques for weaving tension, using open loops to create curiosity, the power of strategic pauses and silences in VSLs, words and phrases that trigger emotional responses. Wow, this is going to be a good blog. The climax, delivering your sales argument. A, timing the reveal, when to provide solutions, amplifying the value proposition through suspense, call to action, driving it home after building tension. That's good. Case studies and examples. Analysis of successful tension-filled sales letters and VSLs. A breakdown of the techniques used in real-life examples. What lessons can be learned. And then recap of techniques to build tension, encouragement to experiment with tension in sales writing, and final call to action, sign up for a PromptROI account. So if you wanted to modify or any of this, now's the time to do it, right? And that's the beauty of what you're going to get out of here. And when we're done writing this, I'm going to show you how I can run this through checkers, and how I finish off the blog to make it super easy to read. But you can, as you go, you can kind of decide like, I didn't like this, or you're being repetitive in this area, right? I noticed a little repetitiveness. We were talking about real life examples a couple times, but I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to say, proceed. So you can see where in this unique situation with AI that most of you probably haven't found yourself in, where you can sort of relax, not worry about the AI going so fast and throwing a bunch of word salad at you, right? You actually have the ability to come in here and work on something. You might work on this for an hour or two. It's fine. I mean, how long does it take to write a blog? That's good, right? Longer than that usually. So let's craft an engaging introduction. So here's our introduction. In a world brimming with noise, capturing the attention of an audience is akin, again, you're going to change words out you don't like, is like striking gold. For business owners, words are the alchemists that transmute interest into action. See, this could be rewritten, right? The message might be good, but the way it's talking, and I'm actually going to tell it that right now. I'm going to straighten it out. Just as tightly drawn bow propels an arrow. I mean, it's just, okay. I like the idea, but you are being way too dramatic here. Akin, alchemists, transmute. Please dumb it down a bit and speak in a less fancy way. I mean, I'd have to look up how to say that. But let's see what it says. So see how we can, again, Copilot, it's here to work with us, right? It's here to do its job that it was programmed to do and fine-tuned to do. Absolutely. Let's simplify the language and make it more straightforward. All right, you're the best. When it comes to selling, grabbing your audience attention is the name of the game. The key to making your sales letter or video sales letter VSL stand out, it's all about building tension. Think of tension as the secret spice that turns a good sales pitch into a great one, nudging your potential customers from maybe to yes. In this guide, we'll show business owners, writers, and content creators how to expertly craft tension into their sales messages. We're going to explore the nuts and bolts of why tension grabs people's interest and share practical techniques to make your sales argument more compelling and persuasive. These tips aren't just theories, they're actionable steps that will help you connect with your audience and get results. So let's get down to business and learn how to make your sales message irresistibly engaging. I like it. Hope this revised introduction feels more accessible. Proceed. Yes, it does. Let's proceed. Okay. So now we've just knocked them back onto the right path. We're like, hey, chill out there, Shakespeare. And then let's get some down to earth copy going. Right. And there's other ways to do this. Again, we're all learning as we go. This is a malleable tool that we're using here that no one really understands 100%. Let's see what it comes up with here. Okay. Step 5, section, initial paragraph. Based on the outline's main points, I'll now expand them into detailed paragraphs. Understanding tension and storytelling. Why does a gripping movie hold your attention? The building blocks of tension. Before you can start incorporating tension, you need to know the ingredients. That kind of, I like that. Techniques for weaving tension. Climax, delivering your sales argument, case studies, and examples. So those are kind of like our initial paragraphs for our sections, right? So if you think that this is a good outline and these paragraphs are good for your blog, you would say, great. If you want to change anything, now's the time, right? So you can see how as we move along here, we have the ability to keep giving input and to guide this thing exactly where we want it to go. Maybe you want to add a section, remove a section. For my case here, I'm just going to keep going. Let's proceed. Whatever you want to say. Go. Let's go. Move it. I imagine any of it would work well. Okay, now it's time to write each section of your blog post. Here is the understanding tension and storytelling. So it goes on to write this section, just like a well-told story that keeps you turning pages. Effective sales writing grips readers with tension. It's that edge of your seat feeling when faced with a compelling problem or question. The one thing I want you to take away from this really is that you're going to always come up with ideas for good blog posts, like this idea that I came up with for this blog post, which is the topic most people don't talk about, but it's necessary. And if you don't have it in a sales pitch, that's usually why it doesn't convert, because the person isn't compelled to act. They might have some desire for the product, but there's no compelling them. There's no tension. It's missing this key component. And I think when you come up with these ideas in your life, to come sit down with this guy for an hour and bang out a post that gets that thought out of your head and also helps educate you at the same time, I think is amazing, right? So I think this guy could stand alone on his own as his own product. All right. Okay. So it basically this is good. Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add? No, go ahead. Okay. So great. I will now expand the section for you, understanding tension and storytelling. And there you go. It expanded it out. The heartbeat of provocative sales message is the ability to stimulate the ebb and flow of a captivating story. Great. Let's proceed. So you can see there's a lot of this, like, let's keep going. But I think one of the great parts I love about this is I'm learning while I'm writing this, which we all are when we write blog posts, right? But I'm able to do it in a way that doesn't feel exhausting and researchy, right? I can learn and walk away with a greater perspective on this topic. So now it's time to write the next section. Here's the building blocks of tension. The building blocks of tension. Great. I can always edit this and add to it later, which I probably will. So I'm going to say, let's proceed. Keep this moving right along. I skimmed it. It looks good. Okay. So let's expand and elaborate on the building blocks of tension in the context of crafting sales messages. So it goes through the building blocks, setting the stage with conflict, heightening the stakes, pacing the release, utilizing silence and space. This section is now fully expanded. So I love it how it goes in and expands the section, emphasizing the initiation and escalation of conflict. Let's proceed. Okay. Now it's time to write each section of your blog post. Here is the techniques for weaving tension. Techniques for weaving tension, open loops, curiosity's best friend, strategic pauses, let them hang, emotionally charged language, feel the impact, Dramatic comparisons illustrate the power. Keep going. Let's keep going. A lot of times what I'll do, I'll keep going, then I'll read this one. Oh, it's going. Never had so much fun writing blogs though. Like I actually want to sit down and like I'm excited for that idea to hit my head so I can go write a blog, which has never happened. Writing a blog, I would rather bang my head against the hard table. Okay, now it's time to write the next section. Here's the climax, delivering your sales argument. The climax, delivering your sales argument, time in the reveal, amplifying the value proposition, and then the call to action. Okay, keep going. I know some of you are going to really guide it, which is great. Guide it. You're going to get what you're going to get is amazing at the other end because it's going to, if you, especially when you guide it even more, because it's your words, you're using your words and it's taking your words and it's just making it really right like you in a way. Sort of the messaging and the ideas that you're writing about, if you're feeding it to it, it's going to be even better. Okay. Now it's time to write the next section. Here's the case study and examples. Case study, relaunch that raked in revenue, the VSL that visibly boosted engagement. So it's going to give you some ideas for some case studies. You're obviously not going to use these like this. You're going to find some customers, but example scripting for suspense, paint a clear picture, consider hypothetical. Okay, having presented case studies and examples that illustrate successful application intention, we can move on to the conclusion. Tie everything together. If you have any examples or elements you'd like to specifically highlight or discuss, let's incorporate them. Otherwise, we can proceed to the conclusion. Let's go. So I think you can see this is not your typical session with AI. It is quite a remarkable tool to help anyone who has to write blog posts fast and easy. Here we go. Now let's compose the conclusions for blog posts. Building tension in your sales is not about crafting a narrative. It's about creating an experience that leads your audience through a journey of curiosity and ultimately action. Remember, as we leave, this is sick. Conclusion recapitulates the importance of tension, call to action. Looks amazing. Good job. I like to give my AI feedback, and I'm polite to my AI because man is a habitual. Thank you. I'm delighted to hear that you're pleased with the blog post. You need more assistance in the future. Happy blogging and best of luck with your persuasive copywriting efforts and your goal of encouraging signups for PromptROI. This guy is smart. I appreciate it. Anthropomorphize. Is that the name? Is that the word? What's going on here? Anthropomorphize. I think so. Anyway. Okay. So now what do we do? Now what I'm going to say is please give me the entire post. By the way, on a Mac, you can press S5 and just speak it out like this in one shot. So you can press S5 and just speak your commands, which makes things even easier. I'm going to do a post, how to write a blog post without typing a single word. That should grab attention. Okay, so it looks like we got the whole post here. I'm going to ask it. I'm going to say, did you leave anything out? Just to make sure. Sometimes the AI, I'll have it go back and just double check, right? If it did, it was just going to go, oh, sorry, I did leave out whatever. Okay, so now we got this blog post. What do we do with this, right? The first step is we're going to take it over to Hemingway. And Hemingway app, if you haven't played with it or heard of it or whatever, is a really powerful app. Let's see if we can go over here and zoom in. Let's paste in our text, and you're going to see our text is very red, right? What does that mean? That means our text is very hard to read, okay? This is extremely hard to read. It's fine, though. It's not a big deal, right? I wouldn't expect that right out of the gate. It just wrote me an entire blog post, right? I wouldn't expect that it would be super easy to read. But what I want to do now actually is it's not broken down in a way where I'll be able to even like structure this thing. It looks like it lost all of its structure. Let's go back over here. It's still checking to see if it left anything out. That's funny. So So this is one tool that I use. What I'll do is I'll go through it and I'll click and it will fix it for me. It'll basically say, hey, this is a little hard to read. Here's an easier way to say that, right? Grade 15, grade 6, huge difference, right? So that's one thing. It tells everything that's going on with this over here, right? 37 of 63 sentences are very hard to read. 13 of 63 are hard to read. 3 spelling or grammar issues, which is okay in sales copy. It's fine. It's actually encouraged. 38 uses of weak language, cut to 21 or fewer. So by the time you're done, editing this in Hemingway, it's good to go, right? But the other tool that we use is called undetectable. And this one, when you're done making it actually, if I pasted all that in here right now and hit check for AI, it's probably going to come back with all AI. Yeah, see? It's all AI, right? Because it's very hard to read. If I went through it with Hemingway app and then put it in here, it's probably going to come back with none of these recognized as AI, right? So if I went through all this and just went boom, and I do read them, I don't just click and go, but as you go, you'll notice that it's going to start to fix this for me, right? So I'm not going to do too much because I want to use this blog post. I actually want to post it. So that's how you do it. You go through it, and then when you're done, you'll paste it into undetectable. It's going to come back as your content appears to be human, and then you're going to go post it on your blog, wherever you blog, WordPress or your website or wherever it might be. So that is how we write blogs using the Ultimate Blog Writer. It came back and said, I apologize for the oversight. It seems I did not include the introduction to the case studies and examples. Here is the correct full version of the post with the missing part. See that? So been down this road enough where I've seen it miss things. You do want to kind of double check stuff. Sometimes I copy and paste the stuff out of here as they give it to me into a document, right? That's another way to do it. That's probably the better way. Just keep grabbing it, pulling it over, grab it, pull it over. And by the time you're done, you get a full blog post, okay? So 3 tools. PromptROI with the Ultimate Blog Writer Copilot. You can get a free account to PromptROI, but you need a paid account to use this Copilot. There is a special offer right now, $29 a month. It's marked all the way down from $99 a month to $29 a month. There's a special offer of $49 a month. You'll probably see that when you sign up, but there's an even better offer right now up there for $29 a month. Same exact package. So if you see that $29 a month up there, you're in luck. You can sign up. That's a lifetime price per month for access to PromptROI. Okay. You can go in and run unlimited prompts, use the AI chat, use the copilots, use the toolbox that's growing every week. Check out the training, and then obviously your profile with all of your past runs and your audiences, your brand voices, and your instructions to customize all your output. So Hemingway app to make it so it's easier to read, and then undetectable to make sure that the AI isn't going to get picked up as AI, and you can even humanize it here with this humanize button and make it even more human, which is going to throw off the writing. But again, play with it and see how you like it. So anyway, I hope you guys like this video. Real quick before we go, let's see how many words. 1,845 words. So that's a pretty solid blog post, right? It's almost a 2,000 word post. So we done good, as they say, right? So go get your free account in PromptROI. Try it out. You can run prompts for $1 in there. Get a paid account. Use the copilots. There are literally, I don't know how many copilots are in here right now, but it's stocking up, and we're building some really amazing copilots. You can see these ones right here are part of the collections that our resellers can install in their own PromptROI white labels, which is a whole different story, but they're getting better and better as we go. And with the new model, GPT-4o, in the system, everything just got elevated a whole nother level, okay? So GPT-4o across the entire site, and now everything is smarter, better, faster, and multimodal. And all of the multimodal stuff is coming over time. In the next coming weeks, we'll have all the multimodal stuff working properly in here once they release it to the OpenAI API. So thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate you, and I'll see you soon.